Hi, thank you for clicking on this video, and you're here to find out what happened after being on the carnivore diet for a month. So I will not take forever and I'll just get straight to the point. The results in terms of weight loss. After a month of being on the carnivore diet, I lost 8 pounds, and I have to say that I was really surprised at just this significant weight loss, because it's not like my diet was horrible before I started the carnivore diet. I was doing healthy keto, clean form of keto, and I was doing OMAD probably 99.9% of the time, and OMAD is 1 meal a day. So I didn't really expect to have such a significant weight loss, because it's not like I was coming from, I guess, a dirty way of eating. So the first few days, the weight was just like melting off of me. And then I would start to say that probably the last week things just really stabilized and I didn't lose anymore. But you know what? 8 pounds, I will absolutely take it. I like broke through just a plateau that I was at, and I'm just really excited. So that's the first thing. In terms of how I felt overall, the first week was awful, and I really think that it was more of a mental thing for me. Like, just having just meat on my plate was just like, oh, okay, I'm used to having, something green. And those that have watched my previous video, like every single meal I have, just about, I have avocado there, and I was like, I miss my avocado. And so it was horrible. So I had to like make the mental shift. And it's interesting because a lot of people are like, oh, I stopped craving just different things, and I can't say that I did. Like, I was craving just, and maybe it's just, again, being used to consuming these things. Now, the other thing is that I typically use an apple cider vinegar drink to aid in digestion when I eat, because I tend to get really bloated whenever I eat my food. But I wanted to be fair and omit that altogether, because I really wanted to see what this, if this diet really helps with like minimizing bloating, because that was one of the things that I kept on hearing in the different videos that I would watch, that, oh, if there's, no bloating, whatever. So I just totally cut out the apple cider vinegar. And that is something that, like I said, I used to drink with all of my meals, and it helped with reducing the bloating, but it's not like the bloating went away altogether. Well, I have to say that with just drinking water and just consuming meat, that I saw a significant reduction in bloating. Like, I was amazed. Like, I would eat and at the end just feel like, oh my goodness, I don't look like I'm 4 months pregnant, So that was pretty exciting for me. Now, in terms of what I ate, I know that there are certain people that follow like a very strict form of the carnivore diet. And that's strict form being just beef, salt, and water. I did not do that. I had a variety of animal products. I had beef, I had chicken, I had a little bit of pork, I had fish, and I had some turkey. Now, I will say this, that the first week I was really struggling, because I think that I was not, and I just felt extremely lethargic. And that, I think, came as a result of, number one, not adding enough salt to my meats, and number two, not eating fattier cuts of meat. So as I made those adjustments, it became a lot easier for me. So like I said, I made the transition from doing OMAD, 1 meal a day, and a keto version of that. So I was consuming like a lot of good fats, which helped to keep me feeling full for a very long time. However, the first week, I think that I was not consuming enough fat, and because of that, I realized that I couldn't sustain doing 1 meal a day. I had to go to 2 meals a day. And once I made the necessary adjustment, there were some days where I was able to just stick with OMAD. But I would say for the month, 80% of the time I ate twice a day. And when I did increase my salt intake, that helped in terms of like my energy. I put more salt on my food, and then I watched a few videos and read a few articles concerning the carnivore diet, and some people suggesting putting a little salt in your water and drinking that and give it some time, and it would help with the energy. And I have to say that for the most part, I think that that did help. So one of the things that was a challenge for me, and I couldn't really embrace it, was just the frequency of my bowel movements. I was used to going at least once a day. And when I made the transition to the carnivore diet, the first few days I had kind of like diarrhea type symptoms. But then after that subsided, probably after the first week or so, I noticed that I was not going as frequently. Like sometimes, it's 2 to 3 days until I go. And I hear that that's normal, but for me, like, it's hard for me to really digest that, only because of what I've been taught. And in my mind, I'm thinking I need to get this out of my body. And, again, they're saying with the carnivore diet that that's not necessarily the case. You don't follow the normal script, and it's not necessary because of the way your body uses up all of the meat that you consume. So that's what they say. But for me, mentally, it did kind of mess with me. Now, in terms of just overall feeling, once I got into the habit of doing it, I think that I got over the fact that, oh, I'm just eating meat. And I can't say it was something that I just absolutely enjoyed. I did feel like, oh my goodness, I wish I could have some vegetables. I don't think that feeling ever really went away, quite honestly. But I will say that I think overall the way it made me feel, other than the mental, was good. I did notice that I didn't have like any joint pains, and when I was doing keto OMAD, it was kind of like on and off, and different things that I would eat would kind of trigger those different joint pains. And I think doing this and feeling like, oh, I'm good like all the time, it was wonderful. In terms of what I put on my foods, I will say that I know some people recommend just doing salt, and the days that I did just salt, I was okay. But when I would incorporate other seasoning, like I have this blend, no salt blend, that has like different herbs and other spices in there, that I noticed that sometimes that would give me a little bit of bloating. So I would think that if I just stuck with doing just salt, I would be okay. But you know what? The diet was already so restrictive that I was like, whatever, I'm using my seasonings. The other thing I noticed is that if I did dairy 2 consecutive days, that would lead to bloating. If I did it with just one meal, I was fine. But if I did it consecutive days, then I would notice a little bit of bloating, which I guess I'm not super surprised, because I know that I have to be very, very careful with dairy. But I love the taste of cheese. I love the taste of cheese. So sometimes it is what it is. In terms of like, now that I'm at the 30-day mark, I have to, oh, this is the other thing that I have to say. It was also very difficult to do this because we had a lot of social events over the course of the 30 days. I had my son's birthday party. We had different events at church, going out together as a family. And that was kind of difficult to just be like, I'm just eating meat. Yeah, I'll pass on the cheesecake at the Cheesecake Factory. Like, that was kind of difficult. Or, oh, I can't do a lettuce, wrap with my meat. It just felt so restrictive. So that was difficult. But I will say that I did notice a difference in my response. It's times that we went out like 3 times during the course of the 30 days. When I ate meat that was cooked at a restaurant, even though it was just meat, I did notice that I did have like a slight response in terms of like the bloating, things that wouldn't necessarily happen at home. So I'm guessing it's like the oils and just the different things that they use. And if nothing else, this was really helpful for me to see like how my body is very sensitive and it responds to things. And I think sometimes when you're consuming a lot of different things, you may not realize how individual things impact you because it's all just, combined. So this made me very aware. Now, I would say when I got, well, when I got to the end of this, I had like a handful of nuts, and that's after going such a long period of time without eating it. And I have to say that within 30 minutes to an hour, my stomach started cramping. It was just like, whoa. Now, before doing the carnivore diets, I would have nuts, and I knew that there was some type of response in my body, but I think that I became even more sensitive because I omitted it for such, well, for the 30 days. So where do I go from here? Is this something that I plan to continue? I will have to say that I enjoy, for the most part, how it makes me feel. But to be realistic, I don't think that this is something that I could do or not that I can do, because I think if you put your mind to something, you can do it. I don't think it's something that I would want to do every single day of the week. So it may just be, on the, like, during the weekdays, I'll go ahead and do it, and on the weekends, I don't know, I'm gonna play around with it to see. But overall, I think that it was a very positive experience and very eye-opening, and I'm very curious now as I go and try to introduce different vegetables. And it's not like I was eating that much. It was really a lot of green leafy vegetables. I'm just curious to see how my body is going to respond. And I am also happy because I'm just like trying my best to stay away from all sweeteners, even if it is like keto approved sweeteners. I would love to just have it where it's just on special occasions. I will certainly keep you updated in terms of how and what I'm going to do as I move forward. And I hope that this video was helpful for you. Leave me a comment below and let me know, have you tried the carnivore diet and what has been your experience? All right, you be blessed.